So what I want to start today is I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so proud of the day that this is. I had a vision back in 2009. I used to work in the healthcare field for 15 years in health information management, and I went and saw an intuitive, and she said to me, "You are a healer, you have healing hands. You should be working, creating, and doing work that's healing." And in my mind, I thought to myself, I'm not going to give up my pension. I'm not going to give up my job. I have all of these things in place. I went to school. And then I got sick. I got diagnosed with asthma. And I knew that when I looked up in Louise Hay's book, Under the Lungs, it was meaning grief and suppression. So I knew that my body was telling me that if I didn't listen to my calling, that I would end up with my physical body showing me these ailments. So I decided to listen to what the intuitive told me, and I quit my job, and I took a natural health practitioner course for 2 years, and I took all different healing modalities. And at the beginning, I thought to myself, why am I taking aromatherapy? Why am I ordering $1,000 worth of oils to begin this process? And I just listened. It was something new for me, because for those of you who live in your mind, you know what I'm talking about. I used to live in my mind all the time. And that was knowing the diseases, knowing the body, coding the charts. That's how I functioned. So moving into my heart space and feeling energy and following my heart and trusting that all would work out was something that was really new for me. And I wasn't used to it. In fact, when I started working with crystals, I couldn't feel them at all. I put them in my hands. I couldn't feel the vibration. I couldn't feel anything. So I kind of faked it till I made it. The one exercise that I always share with my students is I actually had an exercise where I weighed the crystal before I put them on my client's chakras. And that, because it was a mind thing, I could see that if someone had a lot of pain in their heart, and I put a rose quartz on their heart chakra, and it weighed more after I took it off their heart chakra, it showed me that that crystal actually worked. The actual weight on the scale changed. So from that moment on, I began believing. And then as I started clearing my own energy and healing my own wounds, I can feel very well now. In fact, I can feel too well. I can feel what all of you are feeling. And it takes a lot of work in clearing that energy and really knowing what I feel is mine and what you feel is yours, and discerning between the two. So for me, it started, I wrote this book, Ancient Secrets of the Goddesses. Back in 2009 is when I started writing the book. And the mentor that I was working with at the time, she said, "You're going to write a book about the goddesses." And I thought, I don't even know anything about the goddesses. What is this work about? And so I used Doreen Virtue's goddess cards, and I drew 33 cards, and this is the chapters in my book. And as I started writing the book, I realized that all along in my whole life that I'd been connected to the divine feminine, not even knowing it. That I'd had the support of Mother Mary, being adopted and feeling. When you're adopted, you have that feeling in your heart that something is missing sometimes, no matter what. And those of you that are adopted can relate to what I'm feeling. You don't even have to be adopted to have that feeling, right? Where you just feel like sometimes there's something missing in your life. And, like Kathy said, Isis is the kick your butt goddess. And I am excited to reveal to you today, you're the first one seeing, this is the first card in my second deck. My second deck is called Grace, Living Through the Eyes of the Divine Feminine. And Isis was the first goddess that I worked with in Awakening of the Divine, my first oracle deck. So when Césaire came to me, as many of you know in my speech last year, I had a pulmonary embolism and almost died. And that was a real wake-up call for me. I began realizing that I needed to change my life, and changing my life started with my marriage. I was living in a very unhappy marriage it was 22 years. I wasn't always unhappy, but I realized that I was slowly dying inside because I was living in an old paradigm that didn't serve me anymore. And I didn't have the courage to say, I'm not happy. I need something different. I was on my spiritual path and I was growing and expanding, and I had a partner at the time who wasn't on the same path as me. And it's important to know that it's okay to recognize that within yourself. And as I leave my marriage, I feel good about the fact that I'm making the right choice. I know that this is something that is right for me, and when I chose to stay after having the pulmonary embolism, and what I mean by that is there was a point where I was laying in the hospital bed, and I knew that I had a choice to stay on the planet or to go. And it was right before I had my angiogram. I had a really strong fear that that would be my exit point if I chose to. And Kathy was actually in the room with me, and we were planning this event, and she kept watching me, knowing that that's what I was deciding. And she said, "You're staying here. I'm not doing this event by myself." And I started laughing, and I said, "Yeah, I haven't made my decision yet, but I'll see how it goes." And then my beautiful friend Angela texted me from Hawaii, and she said to me, "It's okay if you choose to go." She said, "I'm okay with that. I love you enough to let you go." And I thought to myself, I was meditating and connecting with spirit, my spirit guides, and I heard, "It's not your time to go. You have so much more to share here. It would feel like you're cheating life." And many times over the last year, I thought to myself, what the heck was I thinking staying here? This has been the hardest year of my entire life so far. Getting divorced, leaving my business, moving off the ranch that I lived on for 22 years. My girls at this point are very angry with me for moving on and aren't speaking to me. So it's like I had to leave all of that behind. And it's been really hard. And when I was in the hospital in the foothills and I went for my angiogram, there was a nurse there, and I'll never forget her. She said to me, "I know what's wrong with you." She goes, "They're not going to find anything, on the tests." She goes, "You have a broken heart." And I said to her, "How do you know that?" And she goes, "I just know, I know." And I said, "Okay." And she said, it's called broken heart syndrome. And I thought to myself, wow. And that always stuck in my mind. Eventually, they discharged me from CCU after staying for 5 days, but they never found anything. So they discharged me, told me that it must have been a virus in my heart. I had pericarditis. They weren't sure what it was. I flew 3 times after that. And I went to my cardiologist for a checkup, and he said, "You know what, let's just do an ultrasound of your lower legs and make sure that you don't have any problems with clots in your legs." And they found one in my leg. And he said, "Head over to the Rocky View right now." So I went over there, and guess what? They did the ultrasound, and they couldn't find the clot. And I said to the technician, "The clot is there, but it's already moved to my lungs." I knew that in my inner knowing, and I said, "You're missing it." So he went over and over again and said, "Nope, go home." And I knew in my gut that he was wrong. So I got home, and that morning the cardiologist, Dr. Yakashan, called me, and he goes, "What are you doing at home?" And I said, "Well, they sent me home." And he goes, "There's a very good chance that you're going to die. You do have a blood clot, and it's in your lungs. Get to the hospital right away." And so I phoned my mom, and I said, "Don't panic," because I was trying to remain calm. And I said, "I need you to come and get me and drive me to the Rocky View as soon as possible." And she's like, "Well, I haven't showered yet." And I said, "Well, whatever. Let's just do this." And so I got back there, and I told the doctor, "I can't leave. I have to stay." And sure enough, they did a CT scan, and they found 2 small pulmonary embolisms in my right lower lobe of my lung. And to me, the right side of your body is your masculine side, and the left side of your body is your feminine side. So I knew this all was corresponding with the fact that the masculine energy in myself and around me was out of alignment, and I was suppressing it in my lungs. So interesting enough, this is what I love about this work. As I was doing my second deck, I worked with this amazing artist. He's in his 70s, and he's from California. He's this old hippie, and I love working with him. His name is John Stephen High. And he did all of the images for the 45 cards in my first deck. And so this deck has a silver frame on it, which is on purpose. The other deck has a gold frame, being the masculine energy, and this is the feminine. And so when I was researching about Césaire, she kept saying, "I need to be first. I need to be the first energy in the deck." And I thought, well, why? So I started Googling and doing some research, and guess what? Césaire was known as the goddess who died of a broken heart. And I read that, and I just smiled, and I thought to myself, okay, I get it. And this is the gift that I keep getting continually by doing the work that I'm doing now, moving from my mind into my heart space. It's that total trusting. And so she came to me and she said, "We need to step into courage. 2017 is about owning your power, standing in that solar plexus chakra, and really following your inner knowing. You following your inner knowing. You not necessarily listening to what other people tell you you should do. You know what's right to do deep inside. And so many times we get in that old pattern, and it can be from childhood, where we listen and we seek externally. What should I do? But what I have found is that when you take time and you meditate and you go deep within yourself, you know what to do. You know what's best. You hear that little voice whispering to you over and over again. You just need to follow it, and you need to trust it. And then everything will fall into place. But when you're out of alignment, you know that's when you're looking externally for your power, because everything that you have is deep within you. So I want you to reach in your bags right now, and I gave each of you a bloodstone crystal, and I want you to get that out, please. Okay, so as you're all finding this, I just want to read a quote to you while you're finding this. So as you know, many of you that know me, two amazing women that I look up to in my life are Oprah and Brene Brown. There's many more, but those are two women that I really strongly admire for their qualities of courage and vulnerability. And today is about vulnerability. Each of you being here, there's a part of you that was vulnerable. And you're like, I really want to go, and here you are. So I thank you for taking and listening to that little part of your heart that was vulnerable. You're safe here, and you're loved. So courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It is the source of hope, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. And authenticity and integrity are key for me. And what I work with in the Goddess Healing Matrix system and in my Oracle cards, if you look at the back of my cards, there's a key on the back of it. And you'll see some of the alumni walking around, and Kate King was so gracious enough. She actually makes the pendants in Bali for all of my students that go through, and the top of the bail on the pendant that they get when they go through the levels is the top of this Trinity key. And so it has an energy of the silver and the gold, the balance of the feminine and the masculine, that opens up keys for different qualities that they need at any point in their life. So key that I'm going to talk about is courage. So just hold that bloodstone crystal in both of your hands, and I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just begin to breathe, because breath is so important. Take a deep breath in, and I want you to exhale any stress, any fear, any worries. And take another deep breath in. And I want you to thank yourself for being here today, for putting yourself first, and loving yourself enough to be here. And take one more deep breath. And I want you to think of an area in your life where you wish you had more courage. Whether it's with a fitness program, changing your marital status, your business, as a parent, as a friend. Just think of that area of your life where you wish you had more courage. Okay. So you can open your eyes and just know that this is a gift for each of you to take home. You can use it during meditation. You can put it on the heart chakra. You can put it on your solar plexus or anywhere you're guided to. And these crystals will help you feel the vibration of courage. So the bloodstone is an excellent crystal to help you feel a stronger sense of determination as they aid you to regain your personal power. And sometimes in life we lose that personal power. We forget who we are. We forget that we are in charge of our lives. We get busy being parents. We get busy working. We forget. And that's what I love about this work that I do in the Goddess Healing Matrix, is I like to take you back to the very beginning of remembering of who you are, what you bring to this planet, and that you are enough. Because so many times, those old patterns begin replaying over and over in your mind, and you don't even realize that they're replaying, and you find yourself feeling unworthy and unloved and unhappy. And really, we're here to live a life of joy and ease and grace. So we need one more chair. Is there a chair at somebody's table?
There's lots.
Okay.
There's lots
So
in here too.
are you looking for somebody? Okay, so there's lots of chairs.
There's lots up here. Come up to the front.
So hi Jody, welcome. So the bloodstone, I want to talk a little bit about Césaire here. So she is Noah's granddaughter. And when she came, she said she wasn't allowed on the ark. And it turns out that, she ended up on the ark. And so this image portrays her landing in Ireland. And the ark is sort of, breaking away. The ground is there. And the rainbow energy is the support of the divine, representing all of the 7 chakras. And she's got her bloodstone crystal on and her dragon tattoo. Stephen High said, I put the dragon tattoo on her. Is it okay? And I said, it's perfect. But I really feel that this is what's happening right now, is all of those things that we were comfortable in. So your job, your home, your community, your spiritual connection even, all of that is being stripped away. And I can tell you, every root chakra safety in my life over the last year is gone completely. And if I would have known that they were going to do all of this at one time, I may have not done it. So I dealt with my health last year, but losing all the other securities that I had in my life, my home, the community as I've known it, which I know there's a lot of judgment in what I'm doing, as there are with many people who move forward and move out of old paradigms. But what I've done with that is I've asked the universe to support me and say, I don't want to hear what people are saying. And I have heard minimal because of that. Because I don't feel that's important. As long as I feel good about my choices in my life, that's what matters to me. And the one thing I want to share with you is when I was going through my separation, I came from a 3-generational cattle ranch out by Longview. So there's 5,000 acres of land, and we've been there for a long time. And I have my retreat center there, so if you guys, anyone who went through my system, stayed there, enjoyed the beauty, it was a native energy, and I had to let all of that go. And I was thinking to myself, when lawyers get involved, this is another book that I'm writing, by the way. It's called The Spiritual Guide to Help You Through Divorce. Because I found that we spent a lot of money on things that if we both waited till we were through the phase of anger, we would have saved ourselves a lot of money. And I've learned a lot about the system in the meantime, and I want to help change that. I want to be part of that change. And I said to myself, in every decision that I was making in the separation agreement with my lawyer, I had an amazing lawyer. I said to Kevin, and my mom was talking to me one day, and she said, well, how would you feel, Dawn, if Stephen had to sell some of the land? And I said to myself, I couldn't live with myself. I said I couldn't hold my head up and I couldn't walk around. So I left all the land to Stephen to stay in his family and for my girls. And that's something that I did. And I know a lot of people in the community didn't think that I would do that. But I knew that I had to act with integrity and authenticity to leave what I was leaving. And actually 3 days before I left, I asked Stephen to come up, that's my ex-husband, and I thanked him. I said, I want to thank you for my time here. I want to thank you for our 3 girls, for this place to live. And I was bawling my eyes out. And of course, he was very stoic and didn't want to feel his feelings, so he got angry. And I just said to him, I know at one point you're going to look back and you're going to wish you'd made a better choice in how we close this. And he said, oh, it's not goodbye, Dawn. I said, it is goodbye. I said, it's goodbye is how we've known this. And I said, and I wanted to leave with grace. So that's my advice to all of you, whether you're leaving a job or a marriage or a friendship, is leave with grace. Don't make the other person wrong so that you feel better to leave. Because that's what I find people do, is they make the other person wrong because then it justifies your actions. And it only causes more pain. So that is the whole reason for Césaire. It's having courage with grace. It's truly standing and rising above the drama and looking at the higher perspective. It's not easy, I'll tell you that. Any change that many of you've been through, whether it's health, whatever it is, it's not easy. But if you can always ask the divine to see the higher perspective in why this is happening in your life, it's going to give you more clarity, and you can rise above the drama. Because there's always going to be drama in your life. Always. But it's up to you to choose how you react to that. So this is Césaire, and he's working on the second two cards, which are Maya and Lilith. And Lilith is someone said, are you going to put Lilith in there? And I thought, I don't even know anything about her. And then I started reading, and I'm like, ooh, she's got all this dark energy attached to her. But then she tempted Eve, or Adam. I keep saying Eve, maybe that's the way it'll be in this deck, but it was Adam. And I thought, no, I'm going to bring light to her. I know if you Google her, there's been a dark connotation to her, but these are the old paradigms that we need to bring light to. We need to release those old thoughts. Because when I wrote the book, Ancient Secrets of the Goddesses, you can tell, like Kathy said, there's every religion in here, from Catholic to being a Buddhist to the Egyptian. All of it's in here, because when Mother Mary came and she said, I want to be part of the book, I said, oh, really? And she said, no, no, no. Man has created a segregation with religion. We need to all come together as one. We're all equal. We're all from the same source. So that's what I did. And now I'm bringing 45 more energies of the Divine Feminine to life through this second deck. And there's also a book right now, which I'm writing, which is amazing. It's called Grace, Living Through the Eyes of the Divine Feminine. And it's a really powerful book about letting go of those old patriarchal paradigms and moving into a space of living from your heart. You know, what if, I want you to imagine, what if you lived every day where you felt joy and you felt love and you had time to nurture yourself and all the resources fell into place for you? What if we got rid of those old paradigms of, I have to work till I'm 55 and use the formula to get my pension? What if you could leave that relationship that you're really miserable in? What if you didn't have to live in lack anymore? That's all possible, but we need to start living from our heart space and trusting ourselves and not looking externally to the old paradigms that we have in religion, in politics, in the healthcare system, in the school system. It's really a place of rebuilding from the root chakra up. So now what we're going to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to put your feet flat on the floor. And I want you just to begin taking a slow breath in, just filling your lungs with air. And as you exhale, just breathing out and letting go of any stress. And take another deep breath in. And just allowing your spirit guides and divinity to flow down through your crown into your heart. Letting go and surrendering. And take another deep breath in. Giving yourself the gift of receiving the infinite possibilities to bring courage into your life. And now I ask for the divine support of Mother Earth, our Divine Mother, just feeling her energy below your feet, feeling that pulse of the feminine energy, moving up through the soles of your feet, through your ankles, up through your knees, over your hips, into your root chakra, releasing and letting go of any old paradigms that may be constricting you in your infinite self. Then moving that energy up into your sacral chakra, feeding your creativity, igniting that goddess flame, seeing it shining brightly in the sacral chakra, cultivating all that you need to rebirth yourself. And now let's move that energy up into your solar plexus, into your power center. And just see this flame burning away any cords that may be attached from other people, any webs, any areas in your life where you feel powerless, any codependent relationships. Just seeing that flame burning away all of that energy, allowing you to have a healthy inner power. And now moving that energy up into your heart, allowing this to be the sacred space where you come to recenter yourself, the home of your spirit. Feeling your heart expanding, letting go of any pain, letting go of any self-judgment, truly letting go. And now feel that energy moving up into your throat, letting go of any pain you may have of not speaking your truth. Allowing yourself to speak with divine communication with grace, having healthy boundaries for saying what's important to you. And now moving that energy up into your third eye chakra, just burning away any fear that you have of seeing the future. And now see that flame moving up and out your crown, burning away any fear that you have of truly connecting to your own divine source, whoever that may be for you. And then feeling that energy flowing deep from the core of Mother Earth up through your chakras, connected to the divine above. Feeling that energy flowing through the core of who you are, supporting you, loving you, and knowing that you have everything that you need inside of you at this time. And now let's go back to the solar plexus and think of what it is that you need courage in your life. And just ask for the energy of the bloodstone to help support you, giving you the power that you need in those situations in your life where you may feel powerless, giving you that extra determination and love. And now let's bring those visions up into your heart and feel your power moving into the center of love. Feel it connecting, knowing that you deserve to be nurtured. And if nurturing means that you need to have healthier boundaries, then so be it. It's all in divine order. And I just ask for the feminine energy of Césaire to support you, standing behind you in those times when you feel weak, those times when you feel you may want to drop to the floor and give up, knowing that you're here for a bigger purpose, as Katy Perry would say. We're all here to expand and to help the human collective, and so it is. So whenever you're ready, slowly wiggle your toes and slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back to right here and right now. So I want to thank all these people standing around you are the Goddess Healing alumni, and these are just a portion of the beautiful people that I've been able to connect with in my life who have gone through, some have gone through one level, some have gone through all the levels, and they are truly beautiful people, and they've taught me so much. And so I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you for your help. Powerless. And just raise your hands. So you're not alone, right? And that's why I want to talk about this today, because I feel that power is so important, and it's that chakra that allows us to manifest and move forward in our lives. It allows us to create from the inside out. I was over at the I Am booth over here, and that came about last year, was creating an I Am booth. So please go visit it, because I channeled all these affirmations on the cards, and just ask Spirit what it is that you need to do. Draw your card and then sit down in the chairs. And my card was, you are your own internal guru. And I laughed because when I first started this work, I gave my power away. I gave my power away looking up at other teachers and giving my power to them. And then I realized through my process, when I had a really fast experience with one of them that taught me to look within myself, that's what I like to teach my students, is you know what you need to do with inside of you. You have all the tools that you need, but the key is to clear your auric field, to use your breath, to center yourself, to go back into your heart space. Because it's very easy to get outside of your center and be stuck in the drama. And you'll see that in yourself. When you feel uncentered, you feel dizzy, you feel angry, bitter, resentful, that's your first sign that your cup is empty. So you need to take time for you. So I've had to do that a lot. I was in my closet one day and I was laying on the floor crying, and it was one of those days where I truly I didn't want to breathe again. Like my doctor said to me, "So have you had any suicidal thoughts?" And I said, "No." I said, "But I just want to stop breathing some days because it's so hard." And she said, "Yeah, that's normal. That's part of grief." And so I have all these amazing intuitive friends, and they check up on me and have supported me through all of this. And one of them called me, Angela did, from Hawaii, and she goes, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like laying on the floor in the closet, and she goes, "Yeah, I know. How's that working for you?" And I said, "Darn you, how did you know that?" And she said, "Because I'm intuitive, and I was connecting with you." And I just laughed to myself. And so what I'm sharing that story with you is the other thing that Brene Brown says is vulnerability is our most accurate measurement of courage. And the old me would have not shared with her what I was doing. And the old me wouldn't have been as honest as many of you have probably seen on my Facebook Live, how honest I've been about this journey and how important I feel it is to be authentic with you in what's going on in my life. Yes, I'm a spiritual teacher, but you know what? My life, I have really hard times right now, and there are times when I have these thoughts. And I want to share with how I've moved through them and some tools that I've used to lift myself out of that spot. Because I want to help other people. That's my goal in this journey. It's not my journey in life to see how many likes I get on Facebook or to see how many people view my video. It's truly to just speak from my heart. And hopefully that resonates with somebody else. Somebody else who's in that spot can say, "Oh, she feels like that too. I don't feel so alone." And that's what is important, is having courage is about being vulnerable. And many of us build up all of these walls around ourselves to keep ourselves in that comfortable, safe space where we don't feel love, we don't feel anything, because we're afraid. We don't want to be vulnerable. And it's the cornerstone of courage. And it's so important to be vulnerable. If you're in a relationship, sometimes you're guarded, right? If you feel love for the other person, you maybe don't want to say you love them, because what if they don't say they love you back, right? You think, well, I don't want to do that. What if I don't receive it back? And that's the whole point of being vulnerable, is it allows you to speak from your heart. And when you hold that vibration in your auric field, you open that up for the person that you're dealing with. They may not get it the first time. They may not get it after 20 times. In fact, they may not get it. But you are giving them the cornerstone to help them eventually be open to be vulnerable. You're holding space for them. So that's why I'm here on the planet, is truly to be vulnerable. Here I am starting my second deck. The US dollar is brutal right now compared to the Canadian dollar, and I pay my artist in US funds. So he sent me an invoice for this image, and it's $4.25 American. So when you convert that to US money, it's quite the exchange right now. But so my head was telling me, wait, don't do this, right? Your business has been slower because I've had to take time off, because I have to walk my talk. And so I can't be teaching right now until I go within myself and work through my own stuff and do my writing and heal myself, and then I will emerge again with different teachings and different work. And I trusted that the money will flow, and it always has for me. I don't have the same money belief system as everyone else. I believe if Spirit gives me an inspiration and I follow through with it, the resources will come, and they do every single time. So the money comes and it flows out, and it happens every time. I promise you that. There hasn't been a moment where it hasn't. And that's the old paradigms where we have to let go of fear. We have to be vulnerable and say, you know what? I really feel deep inside that this is what I'm supposed to do right now. I need to trust. I know so many people that are staying in marriages because they're afraid financially to leave. I was afraid too. But you know what? I'm okay. And you'll be okay. Even leaving the job maybe that doesn't serve you anymore. Don't stay for the money. Don't stay for things like that anymore. You truly have to follow your heart, because if you don't follow your heart, your body will give you those big clues. And I had all those clues. I knew. Actually, Colette Barron-Reed, I want to mention her. She has been an amazing woman in my life, and she was here last year as our keynote speaker. And she just got back from Cancun, but she taught me so much. And after that happened with my heart, Spirit kept saying to me, make sure you email Colette, let her know what happened to you. And I thought, my mind was like, don't bother her, Dawn, she's busy. And so I sent her an email, and she said to me immediately, what happened to you is there's an energetic thing going on in your heart. And she said, if you don't get it cleared, you're gonna die. And I said, yeah, I know. And so I did some work with her healer, Althea Gray, who's an amazing healer. And I could literally feel her pulling the energetic hook out of my heart. And that taught me that I truly needed to follow my heart, or my life was going to change differently. So listen to your body. That is one of the things, and move your body. Vicki Stride is here, and she's one of our speakers. She has been inspirational in helping me move my body with the Inspired Fitness Challenge. You've probably seen some of my bicep shots holding the weights on Facebook. That is what has helped me get off the floor during this last year, is the challenge. It's a 12-week challenge where you do weights 3 days and you do your cardio 3 days and take a day off. But it's a community of women that come together and they support each other, and you can feel the love. And it's allowed me to move my body. And when you move your physical body, the older energy has a chance to leave your body into the earth. So you can allow new energy to come in. When you're not moving your body, your energy becomes stagnant around your auric field and within your physical body, and it starts showing symptoms. So the key is pay attention, drink water, eat healthy, and move your body. We're human. We're going to have duality where we want to have that Kit Kat bar, right? Or the Reese's peanut butter cup. But it's all about balance in your life, and it's the judgment that we use in our minds to keep ourselves in guilt and shame and blame. So that is what is important about courage in your life, is to know that you're human and you're gonna make mistakes, and that we need to quit judging each other and ourselves when we make these mistakes. I see that a lot right now, where there's a lot of judgment. And as I said to you before, I'm making a big change in my life, so there's a lot of judgment that I know, my inner knowing's telling me in my life. But what's important is that I love myself enough to make those choices, to listen to what Spirit is saying. And you need to love yourself enough to have strong boundaries and to have the courage to take that action. Because you don't want to look back on your life and think, I could have, should have, would have. And you've probably seen that if you've been with anyone dying in a hospital bed. The one last thing that they want to do, money doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they did in their lives. What matters in the end is your connection to people. And that's what's important, is that you authentically look at people in the eye and you connect from love, because all the rest truly doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't. It doesn't matter how many years you worked doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter what your status was. We're all the same. No one's above anyone. You are your own inner guru, and you deserve to live a life of joy, of courage, connection, and peace. And grace. Good Lord, that's been my last thing for this year, is every time I have my manifestation now, I say, I want to do this with ease and grace. Because we can do things the hard way, right? Rapidly and fast. Or we can do them with ease and grace. And that's how this day has changed for me. Last year, it came together, but it wasn't so much ease and grace. And this year, it was ease and grace. And I'm so grateful for that, because I've seen the shift that I made within myself, and it had a ripple effect on the whole foundation. So my time is almost up, but I guess I can't say enough about how much I learned from the students that come through my system. I learn so much every single time. When I teach, my workbook is completely blank. Many of the students will say, you don't have everything wrote down. And I said, no, because you're all unique. So if I was to write down everything that I was to say to everybody, I'm not being authentic, because each of you are unique and you're different. So in the work that I do with the Divine Feminine, I have small groups, and I really like to connect with each person and allow each person that time and the healing specific to them. So if anybody has any questions about that, I actually won't have any dates until the fall, because I'm practicing what I preach, and I'm going to take care of myself for the summer. And I'm going to spend some time in Hawaii. I'm going to swim with the dolphins like I like to do, and connect with the energy of Pele and Poliahu in Hawaii. So I really hope you treasure the gift that you've given yourselves today, the courage it took to come here, and that you make connections to be with those that are here today. There's a lot going on. The other thing I do want to mention is that sometimes we have people become overwhelmed with the energy because they haven't been in this energy before. So if you find you're getting a headache, or you're feeling nauseous, or you're feeling lightheaded, just come and talk to one of us, Kathy or I, and we'll let somebody ground you and help you out. There's some sprays down there that I have some sprays that I've made, and Tracy and Karen have some sprays that they've made, and we can help you adjust your energy so that you can sit here today with ease and grace and don't suffer. Don't sit in your chair with a massive headache and think, I'll take an Advil, it's okay. Don't suffer. Your body's trying to tell you that it's trying to shift some energy, because we've done a lot of different layering here with the crystals. This beautiful place, each room is named after a crystal, and this is the tourmaline room, which I feel is so appropriate, because the tourmaline is the dark crystal, and it's connected to the root chakra. And that's what my mission today for all of you is, or my intention is, for you to release and let go of some of those old paradigms that are keeping you stuck and in a position of safety. Because when you move into expansion, it's scary, but when you move through it and you look back, it's a beautiful miracle, and you'll be so happy that you had the courage to move through your fears. You'll never regret it, I promise you that. So keep doing what you're doing, following your heart, and just know that integrity is choosing courage over comfort, because it's many times we choose to stay small because we don't want to be seen. We don't want to be heard. We don't want to be known. I've been there. But after a while, you become uncomfortable in that, and you want to grow. And then you become uncomfortable again. And that's okay. Because when you're uncomfortable, you should say, yes, I'm excited, because I know I'm changing. I know different things are happening. And that's what's important. That's what life is about. So what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy, and practicing your values. So it's not always fun, fast, and easy when you choose change, but I promise you, you deserve it, and you'll never regret it. So thank you.